Alrighty then, we're going to do a quick video here showing the results of some modifications we made to our QB78. What we've done here, installed first the breech seal from Archer, which were basically just cut pieces of ice maker tubing. I did find a little problem with those, a little bit of inconsistency on the way that they're cut. I thought they would really be machine cut and very square and very consistent in their length. They really weren't. The first one I put in, I never could get it to seal properly. I got first very high velocities and then low velocities, and then went through the whole shot string and it didn't really improve. Through the whole charge, it actually was only shooting in 300 feet per second, so that charge was over 100 shots. Then I thought, well, something's wrong, so I redid it, put another seal in, and as advertised by Mr. Archer and others, that modification was quite a big help. I was shooting in the 490 range, and that bumped it right up to about 530, 540, with good consistency. Then said, well, we'll go ahead and put the probe bolt in. So I went ahead and ordered a probe bolt from Archer's. Let me show that here real quick, what I'm talking about. Get it up here where you can see it. What this bolt does is removes a lot of metal from the front of the bolt compared to the stock one. You can see that little needle there on the front of the bolt. And it also pushes the pellet in further past the gas port for supposedly increased velocities. And I found it did work. Right now, the last shot I took was 597. It's warmed up a few degrees. Since I took that shot, it was quite cold this morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and do we'll do a 3-shot shot string over the chrono, show you the numbers that we're getting. This gun's freshly charged, probably only had about maybe 7 or 8 shots since a fresh charge. Let me zoom in on the chrono. See it, there we go. And here we go. Let's see what we get. One thing I did notice playing around with yesterday, going to the bolt probe modification with the more open seal, dropped the shots per charge of the 2 CO2s quite a bit. So really now I'm only getting about 20 shots at the highest velocities, and it drops down into the 540 range for about another 20 shots, and then you're pretty much done. Then it'll drop off into the 4s, and you know you're finished. So here, let's see what we get here. I'm just gonna find a place on the target and don't mess anything up. We get there 603. I knew it'd come up a little bit with the increased temperature. The gun was pretty cold. Probably sitting in a room that probably was 60 degrees this morning. 597. One thing, be warned with these modifications, this gun's probably now twice as loud as it was with the stock setup. One of the things they advertise is that Mr. Archer talks about in his videos, that many times the factory seals are crushed at the factory. I didn't find that to be the case. When I took out the factory seal, it wasn't crushed or damaged, but you could tell is obviously it's a stepped affair where it steps down to a much smaller diameter before the gas passes into the barrel. So that's obviously done intentionally at the factory to keep the velocities in that range that they want, that makes the gun compliant with the laws and, you know, all the countries that they ship them out to. So let's see, we get our 3rd shot here, get a little chance to rest there. Another thing I found for the best consistency and accuracy, don't shoot the gun as fast as you can. Give it a little bit of a chance for the CO2 to recover between shots, especially if it's a little bit cooler of a day. Let's get our 3rd shot here. 600. So, as advertised by you know, Mr. Archer and other people on the forum, getting 600 feet per second out of it. Well, you really just can't complain about that for a gun that's, you know, with all the modifications I've done to it. And I did get a whole pile of those breech seals and all the other O-rings that are required for it with both kits. The one for the XP Tune kit that has the ice maker tubing seals in it, came with all the other seals. And then also with the bolt kit, you get a bunch of other seals, so you do get that, and you do need them. One thing I found that every time you pull the barrel, you cut those 3 O-rings that are on the barrel. The hole that the grub screw goes in, that holds the barrel into the receiver, cuts them. I found a little burr on it, and I spent a little time working it with a file, trying to remove that burr and smooth that in the inside of that. And I think I got it quite a bit smoother, so hopefully we're not going to be cutting those seals as badly when we take the barrel in and out. Only other thing I've done, let's show you here, zoom. I removed the safety and the plunger from inside the trigger guard and the spring. It's just too hard. Every time you have to take the barreled action out of the stock, you have to remove that safety. It's just too much beating on the gun. And beating on the safety part. It's not that great of safety anyway. You know, if you want to put the gun on safe, if it's loaded and charged and has a pellet in it, if you want to put it on safe, you know, you can just pull the bolt back and, you know, it's not going to fire. So I think that's safety enough. So I did remove that part. And that's all we've done on it so far. I think the next steps are going to be to get the valve out of it, clean and tune that up, and remove the filter out of it. I don't think it's necessary to have that in there. And then I think our next big step is going to be going to a bulk fill, get a bulk fill cap for it. As we've said before in our previous videos on this gun, it's really amazing. The fit and finish you get on this, the quality of the metal and wood, it's pretty outstanding. The bluing and the attention to detail, you know, for you know, $100 gun, it's just amazing to me that they can do that. I'm certain there's some sort of subsidy from the government in China that's involved, you know, in that whole process that allows them to, you know, to make such nice product for such a low price. You know, you can't just explain that away with lower labor costs, and there has to be something else to it. Definitely a great value. Like I said, it's easy to work on. The modifications, the information that's out there on the modifications seems to be very accurate, and you know, you put the parts in and you get what you get. I think that doing the modifications on something like this or anything else, you really have to have a chronograph, or you just really don't know where you're at. I would have been, the first time I sealed it up and it didn't seal up properly, I would have been totally confused, and if I really didn't know exactly what it was shooting and what it was doing. Because you know, you do a modification, you don't really know if it's doing what it's supposed to do. You know, is it shooting faster, or is it just making more noise and not shooting as fast? You know, is there a leak somewhere you don't know about? So you don't really know. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This is our 600 foot per second 22 QB78. Great gun. Get one. I recommend it. And we'll see you next time when we have something more to report on it. Thanks.